Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the Daily Debate. My name is Ahmed Nader, and tonight we'll be focusing on tourism in Egypt, the upcoming expectations for the year 2023. What happened in 2022? How can we be making things even better in terms of numbers and services and products in the field of tourism for 2023? Whoever wishes to be visiting Egypt in the upcoming year. And I'm honored to be having with me in the studio for tonight Mr. Sameh Saad, the expert in tourism. Thank you very much for being with us tonight.
Great pleasure, sir.
Anytime. The pleasure is all mine. First of all, we'll be starting straight away with the top stories for tonight on the Daily Debate, and we will be starting from the local scene as President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi directed to intensify the efforts to expand the gas and oil exploration activities to achieve the best economic and development use of the Egyptian resources. The head of state also instructed increasing reserves of natural gas with the aim of meeting local needs, in addition to increasing the exports and supporting domestic product. President al-Sisi gave his directives to speed up procedures to finalize the soda ash production project, which will contribute in achieving sustainable development at El Alamein new city. This came during President al-Sisi's meeting with Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli and the Minister of Petroleum Tariq Al-Mulla to follow up on the state efforts to increase the oil and gas exploration. During the meeting, Minister Al-Mulla reviewed the current and the future investment plans in the field of oil and gas exploration until the year 2025 in Eastern and Western Mediterranean, with participation of leading global companies in the field of energy and exploration, with a total investment value of about $2.1 billion. Al-Mulla stressed that the exploration activities are carried out by Egypt in line with the international laws, principles, norms and the United Nations agreements governing the management activities of the countries to the natural resources across the seas. Meanwhile, on the other hand, the Suez Canal Authority, the SCA, held a press conference to shed light on the 2022 achievements and to respond to the questions over the authority's fund draft law. Addressing the conference, Chairman of the Suez Canal Authority, Lieutenant General Osama Rabia, reiterated that Egypt would never give up the sovereignty of the Suez Canal or the national assets, adding that Egypt has engaged in many wars to regain and maintain its sovereignty of the canal. On the canal's achievements in the year 2022, Lieutenant General Osama Rabia noted that the vital waterway witnessed an increase in the number of vessels passing through the water route by more than 15%, adding that the Suez Canal achieved revenues of $7.9 billion. The chairman further said that the amendments on the Suez Canal Authority draft law to establish an investment fund aims to reinforce the canal's financial position and also to upgrade and develop the projects to raise the canal's competitiveness potentials, in addition to facing the challenges, emergencies, and the global economic changes. And the global economic changes, of course, have affected the revenues of tourism here in the country in the past couple of years. How can we be rebounding those numbers and be getting even better in 2023? All this and more during the course of the Daily Debate for tonight. And we will be having the first report about how to be getting back those numbers that we have had in 2010 and before the pandemic in 2019 as well, before the COVID-19, and the upcoming measures being carried out by the Ministry of Tourism. One of them is Experience Egypt Online, the website that is being launched. We'll be having more details on the upcoming report, so stay tuned.
Minister of Tourism and Antiquities Ahmed Isa said that a new website called Experience Egypt will be launched in January 2023 for tourism promotion, as the ministry is working on developing its technological services. The minister said that the promotional campaigns that are being implemented by the ETBP focus on 5 segments of potential tourists, namely family tourism, cultural, relaxation, adventure, and the segment that combines entertainment and culture in 12 countries. The minister explained that a marketing study was conducted in many countries of the world, which resulted in the desire of about 272 million tourists in 12 countries to visit Egypt, representing the main markets exporting tourism movement. He pointed out that the smart investor is the one who directs his investments towards the tourism patterns that meet the needs of these segments. Aissa indicated that there are 3 axes or priorities that his ministry will work on during the coming period in order to be able to achieve the target of reaching 30 million tourists annually and revenues of $30 billion by 2030. These 3 axes are increasing the number of airline seats to Egypt by 3 times, improving the tourism experience and enhancing the tourism investment climate. Aissa said that in order to reach the targeted 30 million tourists annually, the plan also requires increasing the hotel capacity from 211,000 rooms to 500,000 rooms, with an annual increase ranging from 25 to 30%. Compared to only 1% annual increase since 2018 until now. Moreover, the minister said that there is a deficit in 3-star hotels and hotel apartments in the governorates of Luxor, Aswan and Qina, explaining that the ministry is working to improve the investment climate in the tourism sector and raise the number of tourist rooms in Egypt. The minister praised the infrastructure that the Egyptian state had built during the last period, stressing that the development that Egypt witnessed in the infrastructure will contribute greatly to the development of the tourism sector and increase investment in the Egyptian tourism sector. He stressed that there is great cooperation between the Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities and the Ministry of Civil Aviation to promote the tourism sector, explaining that Egypt has 5 very important airports, stressing that these airports play a major role in the influx of tourists to visit Egypt.
Welcome back. You're still watching the daily debate, and as I said in the beginning, that I'm honored to be having with me over the program for tonight Mr. Sameh Saad. Mr. Sameh, thank you very much for being with us tonight on the daily debate in this important field. As we did see in the past report, the Ministry of Tourism is planning to be having more technological ways to be promoting for tourism here in the country, to be experiencing Egypt online. We did see a part of that during 2019, 2020, because there were virtual tours online for the people from all over the world to be seeing what it is like to be visiting Egypt during the pandemic, during the lockdown that took place all over the world. And after 2019 and 2020, everyone had the chance. What is the importance of having this website now to be experiencing Egypt?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We say that anyhow, so let's say this, that when you see something all the time, social media especially, then you feel eager to go and see the place.
Yes.
So this kind of social media campaigns, this kind of teasing campaigns, as we say, definitely it urges the need on traveling and coming to Egypt. I mean, don't forget, now we are in winter and we still have nice weather. I mean, it just started to be cold for us a couple of hours ago, when Europe already is covered with snow.
And still sunny.
And still, yeah, I mean, we don't have any problem. I mean, we still have a shirt during the day.
Yes.
So anyhow, I think this kind of campaigns really has a great aid to push the tourism in better numbers. Pandemic came. I mean, we had fantastic year 2019. We were expecting 2020 would be the boom. Unfortunately, the COVID-19 came, and so the whole world was locked down. Countries locked down completely in the year 20. 21 start to be better, and really the kickoff was started this year, 22 in May, in January, February, and we were expecting very high season. I'm now talking about the culture tourism, because some years the culture tourism is booming, but the leisure or the beach holidays are not doing well.
Yes.
Many other years, much more years, the beach holidays are doing well, but the culture tourism is not doing well. 22, we had both type of tourism. So you wouldn't find an empty bed on the Nile cruises, Luxor and Aswan. And in summer this year, May, June, July, August, September, hotels were full, Cairo was full, you don't find an empty bed. Unfortunately, the war came in February, and the effects of the war came, and now in winter really we had the good bookings, but we are starting to suffer a little bit from the war in Europe is starting to suffer from the war, and definitely tourism is the first segment which get affected because of this.
And those numbers, have they been retreating all over the world, or is it just Africa or the Middle East or Egypt in specific?
The whole world was hit economically. I saw yesterday a report in the official news channel TV of France.
Yes.
And they were talking, making interviews in the street with the people. What's your problem now? We don't find oil. What's your oil, cooking oil, you know? What's your problem now? Everything is getting expensive. So economically, it hit everyone. And definitely, traveling is the last need you need to come in. So we are doing fine, but we are a little bit hit. We could have better results in the last part of the year of 2022.
You've mentioned the social media. Social media is very important in terms of promoting for tourism all over the world, as we did see in the World Cup, for example, in Qatar, to be inviting influencers and going to the matches, and all those challenges that took place on social media, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, all those things. Do you think that the way to be fighting for more tourism on social media is to be launching a website by the government, or is it by hiring other influencers or bloggers on social media to promoting for us?
What has been proven really is very effective. The social media influencers, self-dependent, they made a good job for Dubai. They talked a lot about Dubai, so when you hear, you see their videos, you feel like, I need to see this paradise place. And when you go there, it's a nice city. So they are always very effective, they are very influencer. Plus there is one thing, you can read an article about Egypt, but when you see the guy himself is riding his camel in the desert in the West Bank in Luxor among the fields and things, you say, this is where I want, because it's something real. You see, if we want to talk about tourism promotion, we have two ways to go. Either you go through the influencer, which they go to a lot of places to see, to discover. If you talk about the White Desert, talk about many places, nice places in Aswan, Gharb Suhail, and all these places. This is one thing which doesn't cost you anything. All what you need is just
an invitation.
And give him a good itinerary. I mean, the guy wouldn't know that you have the Valley of the Whales in Fayoum. What is the Valley of the Whales in Fayoum? What is Wadi Rayyan, and so on.
A lot of the Egyptians, they don't know about these places.
Exactly. Imagine the guys coming. Imagine in 2-3 days ago, there is a palace in Fayoum where we have the sun comes on the shrine of the pharaoh on the date of his birthday. And yesterday in Karnak happened the same, and not so many people know about these things. The famous one is Abu Simbel, 2 days a year in February and in October. Not so many people now know about it. Imagine when you get one of those influencers and show, this is what's happening now, guys, and you see people around you. Definitely, they have a very heavy power, and especially if you do it with the Japanese, the Italian, the French, the Chinese, all those guys.
Those markets.
Yeah, exactly. And when I see Chinese, if I am in Chinese and see Chinese going there and he's talking freely about everything, definitely I'll be eager to go to this place. So this is one way. The second way, which was very successful, but for some reason it didn't work much, doing filming international movies in Egypt.
Yes.
Unfortunately, we lost this segment. It was very successful during the 80s and the 90s, and use some bureaucratic procedures and stuff like this, we lost it. And now Morocco has been taking place about this industry, and many films, the action and the movie and the story goes about being happening in Cairo or Egypt, but it was filmed in Morocco.
Yes.
If we manage to bring back those kind of movies and filming, the sky will be your limit. Because first of all, we make money from making those kind of movies because they spend. Second of all, they will show nice places. Third of all, such an international movie will be seen all over the world. Films of James Bond. I remember very well, in the 80s, there was a film for James Bond, The Spy Who Loved Me. And part of it was taken in the Sound and Light by the Pyramid Show. Part of it was taken in Luxor, part of it was taken in Aswan. We had for many years after this a big boom in tourism because
just for the film.
Exactly.
The fans of the film.
Part of the movie, there was a fight in Karnak Temple, and nobody would imagine those huge columns of the Karnak Temple and stuff like this. I mean, this kind of movies is the best ever advertising you can make. You can put an advert, 30 seconds, 1 minute. After 5 minutes, you forget it. But when you go and see things like this in the movie,
Living the experience.
yes,
I want to be like that,
exactly.
as you mentioned, James Bond.
Yeah, you wouldn't. I can talk until tomorrow that if you go to Karnak Temple, you saw these huge columns and it's big and wide and so on. It doesn't get to your mind. But when you see the guys
So
fighting,
what are the obstacles now that we need to be getting rid of for the international cinema to be returning once again to Egypt, to be paying fair prices, to be getting value for money for them, to be getting what they need in the film, and we get what we need in terms of promotion and money?
And they pay, yeah. Unfortunately, due to a lot of bureaucratic procedure, like so many ministries were involved in this, and each one put his rules and regulation and fees and stuff like this, it ended up, it's very complicated. And big problem of this, you see, again, I've been talking to producers and international producers. I know some people being in this field for a long time. They said, I don't care if you come and tell me I'll spend $1 million as a budget to make this film. No problem, I'll put it in my budget. But problem is you find a lot of extra expenses which were not counted. And instead of saying,
wasting time.
I'm coming to this now. And instead of saying we will do this for 20 days, I am an actor, so I have a contract with you, I come to Egypt, I make my shooting for 20 days. For some reason it takes longer, I have to go home and you didn't finish your movie. I mean, it's very complicated. So they don't really now would like to do it. You know, it's not anymore as it used to be once upon a time. The problem now, we have to be careful because Saudi Arabia, which is next door, he has the same weather, you have almost everything, your kind of desert, everything, start to pay back to the producers. If you come and produce a film, shoot a movie in my place, I'll pay you back a lot of your expenses. I mean,
It's like an incentive.
Exactly, it is
Because they look at it as an investment for themselves, for the future. So we need to be treating tourism as an investment.
Exactly.
Not something that just brings us money or revenues.
And don't forget this famous film of Tom Cruise when he made it in Burj Khalifa in Dubai.
Mission
big part
Impossible.
Of the film, exactly. Big part of the movie took place in this, took part of this. This was totally sponsored by Dubai. I mean, we have to be careful, and especially if we go back to the original subject which we were talking about now, that we want to increase number of tourism. His Excellency, the Minister of Tourism, aims to reach a high number of tourism, right? How can we do this? We work seasons. Egypt is seasons. We have summer season, winter season. So if I say Sharm el-Sheikh and Hurghada, they close year-round 70%, 75% occupancy. Why? Because we have some dates are dropped. It's not that every day we are 100%. I'm talking about the destination.
Throughout the year, yes.
And I'm talking about
the place.
General destinations. Luxor and Aswan, maximum they make 55-60% year-round because summer is
of the weather.
very hot. Exactly. So if I want to increase the number of tourism, I have two ways. Either I increase the number of rooms, which will take 5 or 6 years. You don't build a hotel overnight. And I have to find new destinations to fill it, because now it's already, Hurghada is full, the capacity is full, Sharm and Marsa Alam and so like this. So I have to highlight new places. to start making it as a new tourism destination with attractions, so I can reach the number. Or on the drop dates, I mean, I make 70%, 75% in Hurghada. I have to find in those drop dates
for the rest of the
attractions,
30%.
attractions to get the people to fill those gaps to me. And those attractions will not come by making the normal advertising, come enjoy yourself about the sea and go diving, and no, I need to show him something else. And the best effective way of showing different things in Hurghada and Luxor and stuff is these movies. I mean, again, if you shoot that someone is riding the balloon on Luxor on top of on top of the fields and the temples, a lot of people doesn't know this. And he is not interested to see it in an advert. He might see it or not, but he see it in a movie. The same idea, new places, white desert, and all these kind of things. Definitely, we will reach the high number of tourists.
Putting it in a movie, it gives us a context for me to be thinking of myself as the hero of this film, that I'm, as you mentioned, in the balloon over Luxor with my wife, with my beloved, or whatever. So it gives me a context, that an adventure itself.
And don't forget now, our chance is 100 times better. We have all this movies and the network, the television, paid TV. We have now a lot of Arabic platform, we call it, right? And British and English and international, and we have now in Egypt, we have 3 or 4 or 5 of those guys, and they produce their own films and their own serials and movies. I mean, it's easy. Come and let's find a way to contract.
Do you think that the other way around, that the Egyptian filmmakers, the Egyptian producers are focusing on giving the Egyptians a message about the tourism in general here in Egypt, to be focusing more on Luxor, to be focusing more on Sharm el-Sheikh, Hurghada, all those attractive places, but we need to be speaking to the outside world, not just speaking to the Egyptians or the Arab region?
When we speak about Egyptian movies showing nice tourism, they have been contributing in certain areas, like a lot of films at a certain time were filmed in Sharm el-Sheikh, showing them Quadrana and stuff. And this is how Sharm el-Sheikh started to be popular for Egyptians and the Arab tourism, you know. But unfortunately, if the only film, if I could say like, wow, this film was really good about tourism in Luxor, promoting to Luxor, it's a very old film, you know, in the 60s, the mid-year vacation, أجازة نص السنة, and the affair in Karnak, غرام في Karnak. Those films really were done to show the beauty of the monuments and stuff like this. Unfortunately, after this, very, very, very few films came out showing you the nice touristic places, which will tell you, oh, why didn't we go this, let's go there.
Yes.
So we didn't help each other yet. I mean, Egyptians didn't help Egyptians to go in different places. Some movies are trying, but at some time you follow up. I saw a film recently, was filmed in Luxor in 21, and really this film made a good business for Luxor. Hotels were full and you know, because of the cost and stuff like this. It's an Egyptian movie, and I was really impressed because the whole thing goes in a Nile cruise, which is a new thing, in a trend in cinema, Nile cruise stuff. So I was impressed, but when I saw the story, I was very disappointed because the story was very simple. I mean, it should be better and strong story to make the film and the Nile cruises and things, because this is encouraging Egyptians to go as well to see it, and Arab as well. I mean, our movies are shown in the Arab countries. But I hope that we are improving in this way.
I even think that the novel of Agatha Christie, Death by the Nile, was not filmed here fully in Egypt.
Not fully. The last one, there was one actually in recently.
Yes.
But it gives the feeling it's in Egypt, it's in Luxor, you know, I mean, okay.
What's important for us, it was not filmed here in terms of revenues, in terms of
we lost a lot.
We needed that.
We lost. I've been working in hotels all my life, and once upon a time, when we had all this international movies, and I know when a crew of film come and stay in a hotel, how much foreign currency goes. It's not only spending in a hotel, you know, I mean, the staff, the workers, the cost, and all these things. I mean, and the budget is always exceeding the millions. So
Yes.
the target could be reached very easy if we focus and concentrate on those.
Yes, focusing on 2023 as there are about 10 days left in 2022. Looking ahead to the upcoming year of 2023, National Geographic has put Egypt on top of the list of the top destinations for 2023. Let's see why.
Egypt was included among the best destinations for travelers looking for heritage and culture, with highlights on the Avenue of the Sphinxes in Luxor, which was opened last year, and Giza's Grand Egyptian Museum, which is set to open soon and which will feature the full collection of King Tutankhamun and many other artifacts from ancient Egypt. Earlier this year, the UK's Daily Mail news website selected Egypt as one of the best tourist destinations for spring and summer of 2022, coming in second place on the list of top holiday destinations for this year. TripAdvisor, the world's largest travel guidance platform, has named Cairo the second most trending destination in the world and the 9th best destination for city lovers in 2022, while Hurghada was named 10th most popular destination. TripAdvisor also selected Sharm el-Sheikh among the world's best tourist destinations in 2022 for diverse and environmental tourism, noting that the recent economic growth and development that have taken place there have made it among the most luxurious resort towns. It also named Ras Muhammad Nature Protectorate, which is 12 kilometers away from Sharm el-Sheikh, as a top destination. A report by Oxford Business Group, OBG, also said that emerging countries, including Egypt, are expected to be favorable destinations for tourists as lockdown measures, which were imposed to contain the COVID-19 crisis, are eased.
Welcome back. You're still watching the Daily Debate. Mr. Sameh, Saad, as we did see in the past report, the destinations that a lot of people are aiming or anticipating to be visiting in Egypt in 2023, the top of which is the Grand Egyptian Museum, the gem. How do you see the anticipation of the world for the Grand Egyptian Museum, as we did see in other events like the parades, the mummy parades?
Let me tell you a little story. We've been talking about the gym since many years, and I could say last year I traveled in January 20, before the COVID came. It was a travel fair in Spain, Fitur.
Yes.
And of course, Egyptian friends, we walk around and see what other countries are doing and meet our clients and so on. Wherever we walked, and this is a special fair. I mean, this is a business-to-business fair. So all the people inside the fair are tourism related, you know, I mean, it's only about tourism.
Yes.
Whenever we walked, someone was stopping us and asking, "You are Egyptian?" "Yes." "When the museum will open?" I don't know. So, and we would ask this question all the time, because you see that Egypt and talking Arabic, and then ask and get this, but we didn't have the answer. So what I want to say, yes, the whole world is waiting for it. Everybody knows about it. Unfortunately, changing the dates of opening many times is not very good. But what we need to do, we don't need to open it in a peak period, because hotels are full anyhow and everything is fully how. You see, normally in tourism we do event in need time when it's empty. So let's do anything so we can fill our hotels and stuff. Plus, whoever invited or whoever is coming, don't suffer from finding a room. So we should choose. We have drop dates in tourism, we know. Cairo have certain drop dates and up and down. We should choose the drop dates long time in Egypt. Then we make the opening, so definitely the invitees will come, so we benefit as well on filling this empty area. And then give a chance, because it's drop date, because then they will continue and see Luxor and Aswan, because the Egyptian Museum is a start and a continuation of Egyptian history. So definitely you see, I mean, the guy will say, you see, this monument, it was found in Luxor Temple, or I want to see Luxor Temple, and so on.
You mentioned a very important point, that whoever comes to the Grand Egyptian Museum could be visiting the pyramids and the Sphinx on the same day. There is a nearby airport, I think it is called Sphinx as well, so they could be going to Luxor and Luxor in specific on the same day. So this package or itinerary could be achieved within a day or two. Is this something that is attractive for people from all over the world?
Definitely. See, having an airport in this area is always a big plus. Why? Because actually I live nearby this area, and knowing exactly that if everything comes through Cairo airport, then it will take long time from one side to the other side of the city of chaotic Cairo, and then you spend short hour because you have to go back to make sure that we are on time. But having an airport within 10, 15, half an hour ride, definitely it will help. And it's made mainly for tourism, I think. So definitely I hope. And now the low-cost carrier, Air Cairo, which is owned by the government, is starting making few flights from this airport to Luxor, Aswan, Sharm el-Sheikh and Hurghada.
On the other hand, Experience Egypt, the website that we have spoken of during the first part of the daily debate for tonight, they are trying to be marketing for people from maybe 272 countries, but on a different level. They are actually targeting people who want adventure in Egypt. Tell me more about the adventure of Egypt that could be drawing people from all over the world to be experiencing here.
We have to be careful because, you know, any centimeter in Egypt you can have adventure, really. It's not like some other countries only you go to the mountainside or you go to, no, they have everywhere. We have deserts everywhere. You can go sandboarding in the way to the White Desert. You can go in the White Desert camp. I mean, we have zillion things, as we call it. But unfortunately, the adventure attracts a certain age group, and sometimes this age group is not a high spending group, you know. So yes, we highlight it, we should highlight it, but we should highlight it as well to attract the age group who is able to make some money. Because yeah, it's nice to have tourism, it's nice to feel street full of tourists, but how much we are getting at the end, this is the most important thing. So the good thing about adventures, it's a kind of tourism which could work year round. You have a political situation, no political situation, they don't care. He comes for a certain thing. He comes for diving, he comes for going in the desert. But the good thing is they can come always year round, then again to fill the gaps, to give you the numbers, your figures you are looking at.
Yes, Mr. Sameh Saad, the tourism expert, thank you very much for being with us tonight on the Daily Debate.
Thank you very much.
Anytime.
Pleasure.
And this brings us to the end of the Daily Debate for tonight. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.